Oh, we on?
Yeah, we on.
Oh shit. What we doing? What kind of?
All right.
Oh, I thought we were saying something. My bad.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host. This dysfunctional world.
I'm your boy Said, aka Mr. Let's Talk.
So with that being said, I'm sorry.
Your boy PhD in the background. Just chilling. I thought I was gonna get an introduction, but this, you know how this do. He just ran through the joint, you know what I'm saying? This your house show. He ain't slept either. See how it is, man.
So what we talking about?
Bro,
Man.
gone. See how you do, man.
See, I threw out the intro and everything. You know what I'm
I
saying?
thought we got practice when we did the last
Hey, man,
shoot
look,
together,
man.
but I guess not.
Look. I need y'all to get it together.
All right.
Man,
So
he started it, man.
today we talking about marriage and the views that men and women are taught, pre-taught, going into it.
And then when do you feel like it's too long of waiting for a proposal?
And when do you feel like it's too long to wait on a proposal or actual marriage?
Right, you know, something like that.
Well,
I guess
it's two separate things, so yeah, I mean, we'll have to touch on both.
Yeah. Just
we'll start with you said.
Okay. On which topic?
It's 4 topics in there. So we're going to start with why are men and women programmed differently about marriage?
About marriage? Okay. I think men and women are programmed differently about marriage because, honestly, men and women are different.
true.
Period. So what in this case, what works for one will not work for the other. You see what I'm saying? Because most women are told that when it comes to marriage, a man should ask you to marry him. That's how most women feel. You see what I'm saying? Things are slightly changing now, but still overall, that's the overall concept. So, and this is coming from birth. You know what I'm saying? So, like once they can start understanding, and once we can start understanding it too, because we program too as men.
Right.
Go out and find a wife. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you find the right one. Have your fun. You know what I'm saying? In between. But once you find the right one, you know what I'm saying? You propose to it. And this is what we are taught. You know what I'm saying? But we are different. We are different. So I don't think you can tell the same thing to a woman that you would tell a man.
I don't think I was ever taught that. I think I was taught you'll know when you meet the right one. But no one ever is specified whether that means marriage or just long-term dating. Just you'll know when you meet the right one.
Well, I think if they say that, then that's probably marriage. That's leaning to marriage because no one refers to anything as long-term dating as far as like you found the one, you the one, but we just long-term dating. You ain't the one thing.
But like I said, like when like as far as I was talking to one of my relatives, my auntie, and she was like, as far as she can remember back when I was 5, I was talking about how I wanted to have children. But I never said I wanted to be married. I just said I wanted to have children. I remember playing house and doctor when I was a kid. But I don't recall anyone ever sitting me down saying the end all is to be married.
I don't think, well, especially like we were saying off camera, I don't think most black folks ain't sat down and given that talk, men or women.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe currently now, but I know definitely not when I was growing up. We didn't get sat down because my parents was too busy working.
Gotcha.
2 jobs. So I'm sure if they would have the time, you know, then yeah. But I think it was more what they showed us.
Right.
As opposed to what they said to us. You see what I'm saying? Because even though at one point, eventually my mom and dad divorced, but then both of them got remarried. You see what I'm saying? So I still see husband and wife. I always grew up
So
with a husband and wife. You see him? Right.
Mother and father help husband and wife.
Yeah, right. That dynamic. I've always seen that. You see what I'm saying?
That.
So, but there was large gaps in between. But I'm just, you know.
Only husband and wife that I seen growing up was my aunt and uncle. But like I said, the way they communicated with each other back then was so different than any communication I've ever had with any woman I've been with.
Okay.
So I didn't look at that as like, oh yeah, I want to be like that.
Right. Well, I just looked at it from the standpoint of before I moved here, right, to the South, right, coming from New York and seeing what I seen, right, all the things I've been through and all that other stuff. Because, like I said, I seen my mama married and I seen her divorced.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And everything that we had to go through, right? As a result of. So then I get sent here, whatever, that's another story. And then I see a whole nother thing though. Now I see husband and wife working together. Now I see husband and wife flourishing, meaning my dad and his wife. You see what I'm saying? Flourishing.
Okay.
And I'm seeing what, you see what I'm saying?
What it can be.
What it can be, right.
Gotcha.
So it's like, oh shit, it just, what's a good word? The dichotomy. You see
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because the spectrum on one end, I see the absolute worst because it got really bad with my mom. And then on the other end, I see how good it is. So it's like the dichotomy of those two, and I'm a child.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm like, oh snap, wait a minute. Oh, so I don't have to, oh, okay, bet. And you start seeing this. But my dad never sat me down and said, hey, you know what I'm saying?
This is what you do.
Right. But like I said, it was always through his actions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Always through what he did and how he did it and stuff like that. And he knew we was watching. You know? It's cool like that though. It's cool now when I think back on it as a grown man. You
So,
know?
but like I said, when we were talking on camera, I said I believe that women are
Mhm.
taught that being married is the ultimate trophy for a woman.
Yes. And it's funny because it's the ultimate trophy for them and it's the ultimate goal for us. Two different things because we view it differently. You see what I'm saying? We view it differently. Like you'll hear men say, I want a wife. I want to be, you see what I'm saying? And it's like, we don't give a fuck. And I want a wife, period. This is what it is. Boom. With them, like I said, it's a trophy because now they understand in their head, oh, I got a man now to accept me, you know what I'm saying? I might be whatever case may be. So they view it differently. It's the ultimate trophy. The ultimate trophy. Us as men, we don't give a fuck. That's how y'all view it. Whatever. Y'all view it how y'all view it. We view it how we view it. But I would say the reason that they view it like that is because of the stories that they heard and the things that has been put in their head of how bad men are. So when they realize I got a man who want to marry me, I got a good one. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how they look at it. That I mean, you know, and in some cases it works and in some cases it don't work out. But that's how they look at it because this thing since they little, they hearing their aunties and them talk about men ain't ish, men are dogs, men are this, men are that, men are this, and then
Maybe that's the disconnect.
oh, absolutely.
Maybe
Absolutely.
that's that disconnect we're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Anyway,
it is. That's
I
that's the
digress.
exact
I digress.
disconnect. No, but you're right though because before auntie and them, grandma and them was up here, right? I mean the generation before, and they would tell them, "Hey, get out of here, grown folks are talking."
Mm-hmm.
But it got to a point to where grandma's age got dropped by 15, 20 years.
Oof.
Now they talking in front of the kids.
Right. Hanging with them.
You see what I'm saying? So these little girls are hearing men ain't ish from 4 years old. Men ain't ish, men are dogs, see what I'm saying, from 4 years old. They hearing this. So by the time they grow up, they just inherently start to act like this. They may not try to, they may not even know they doing it. Because this is all they've been around.
Gotcha.
You know how you ever been out like, even when you was in high school and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and you been at the mall, you see a girl walking, and you be like, man, I bet she live in the projects. You ain't never said that? Yes, you have. I know you have. Yes, you have. So, okay, not the projects, but you said, I bet she live in such and such.
She live in the hood.
Not
why'd you act?
whatever, the hood, I bet she live in the suburbs, I bet she live, you done judge somebody. My point being, somebody
Probably
could be,
subconsciously.
yeah,
like-
no, I don't mean like to her face, but yeah, subconsciously.
But I don't think I had like a verbal conversation with anybody like that. But
No,
subconsciously.
I'm saying like, you standing right here,
And I see
and you
her.
just people watching. You just
Okay,
people watching.
okay.
And
Yeah.
you see somebody,
Yeah,
and you be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I bet you, like for us, we be
I
like,
bet-
I
I bet
bet
she
she
look.
from Hoover.
Or I
I
she
bet
look.
she from the west side, right. I bet you,
Right.
she
You
from
look and you see how they
Inslee.
dress, how they act,
Just
what they
the-
doing, you automatically
Right, and what I mean by that is,
assuming.
once you in an environment so long,
is in
you become that environment
It's
without
in-
even knowing. You see what I'm saying? Like, without even knowing, you become that environment. Product of my environment. You see what I'm saying? And when you dig deeper into that, a lot of people are able to become the product of the environment, realize it, get
Change it.
used to it. No. Realize it, get used to it, but just don't adapt to the bad parts. Meaning, you ever heard, well, I'm sure you heard this, I heard everybody here has heard this before. I love the hood. I ain't never leaving the hood. Right? But they don't bang though. Or maybe they bang, but they're not active. But they just love the hood.
Right.
You hear bums say that.
Right.
You hear people who prosper say that. You got middle class, upper middle class who
I
come
love
back
the
to the hood. I
right.
love the
I
hood.
love the hood. Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes you're a product of your environment without the bad stuff. You just love the hood or whatever it is, wherever you at. Some people bougie, live in the suburbs. Some people country. I love the woods. You see what I'm saying? Like no, I'm just saying. You met some of my coworkers. They would tell you that out their mouth. They would never live in the city. Yeah, they would never live in the city. They country boys. They would never live in the city. They say it costs too much.
It does.
You see, and they're absolutely right. Because their houses are nice. Nice ass houses. Nice.
Plumbing versus septic tank.
Right. And they got all the amenities. We got cable, blah, 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 blah. It's just, you know what I'm saying? And they got land.
Right.
So they're a step ahead. Like,
So they got a peace and quiet sometimes.
and they got a lot of peace and quiet. A lot of peace and quiet. So it's like, yeah, once again, you start to realize what it takes for us to get a certain age or for somebody else to say it. That's when it sink in.
So is there a too long of a period to wait to get engaged?
I think so.
To get engaged? Ooh.
I think, yes. Let me chime in a little bit.
Go ahead. You got it. Because my answer might be...
Well,
Like,
especially because y'all are in a different generation from me.
Mhm,
So
mhm, mhm.
I can almost guarantee that what y'all went through is going to be a lot different from how it is now.
Absolutely.
Yes, because
Ain't
I've
that
seen...
old, no.
I mean, no, but I mean, hey, but still... Bro,
Go ahead, mess with your head, man.
4 years, you can see a difference in how people
No,
act.
man, I'm just teasing you,
Oh, no,
man.
I want no
You
smoke,
good,
man.
Go
But
ahead.
because I've heard people, not necessarily every person, but some people I actually were cool with, went to school with, yada yada, etc. I've heard women say, "Oh, if he ain't married me in 2 years, I can't be with him."
If
Right.
he ain't married you or engaged?
Or just
Oh, if it ain't a
asking
ring
you,
on, sorry.
Oh, if it ain't ring on
Because
their
I would
finger.
do that if it ain't a ring on their finger.
Okay.
And I say,
So
okay,
that
so
just-
you
yeah,
ready to be
engaged.
married in 2 years? Well, I mean, we at least got to be engaged.
Okay.
And then I would turn around and say, okay, well, what do you know about that person? Have y'all did this? Have y'all did that? What do you know? What did he know?
Right.
Are you sure within those 2 years
Mm-hmm.
for you, not for somebody that you might have seen do it, but for you,
Mm-hmm.
is that enough information for you to say, I could live with this person if y'all haven't done it already?
Right.
I can have kids with this person if y'all haven't done it already.
Right.
We can talk about bills and managing money and this, that, and the businesses, whatever. So, yes. Now, I don't think personally that their parents are telling them that. I think the intentions are good as far as saying, hey, don't do X, Y, Z until you're married. But they're not actually saying don't try to get married too fast. Now, maybe there's the exception to that rule, that 1% that's like, yo, don't get married too fast. Me and your mama got married when we was 19. That's not saying you got to get married at 19, 20, 21. Take your
Right.
time. But there's a lot of people in my generation who I've seen coming up since I was back in law school, who's
You know
like, they trying to get married. I had a friend years and years ago, and we talked about it. And you know this friend, Pops know this friend, that she told me one time that, and this was a long time ago, she was like, I feel like I need to be married to him in 2 to 3 years. And I was like, well, what do you know? Especially when you were telling me, well, I want to be married, but I don't want to be bothered with him. I don't want to, and I'm like, but I asked why, and that's what you see. But I said, okay, what you see is that, but that's now. Think about what they were doing when they were younger and they were first married. They probably were all around each other and been around each other. So they're not going to be around each other all day in that baby boomer generation.
Right.
So once they've been together for so long, they like, hey, I'm in the living room, you in the bedroom. That
When
don't
we're in
mean
the
that's-
house together.
Right.
We're
That
together.
doesn't
Right.
mean that that's how they were. And you saying, well, I got to be married in 2 to 3 years, but I don't want to. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. And I asked her, I said, well, do you really think a man's gonna put up with that? I'm married to you, but I can't ever be around you and see you. But that's what you saw. But you got to also understand it's another person. But anyway, to get back on topic, yes, I feel like there's a lot of people, not everybody, that wants to be engaged / married really, really quick without actually understanding other things. For men, I don't know because I haven't heard men say that.
Wait, hold on. I gotta jump in. For a second. Before I forget. But this I won't forget. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't alone, and I don't want to forget. You can give up your early years to enjoy your latter years, or give up your latter years to enjoy your early years. When it comes to kids, think about that. You can have your kids early, and by the time you 42, 43, 44, you're an empty nester because your kids is either working or in college or whatever. So you can enjoy, you see what I'm saying? Or you can enjoy your early years, your 20s, and have your kids in your 30s. You see what I'm saying? And you're enjoying this time, but you're sacrificing these later years. You see what I'm saying? And the problem with sacrificing later years is that's normally when you're moving up the ladder in your career. Go ahead. Just want to throw that in there before I forget.
Well, tap on that. Tap on that with marriage then, because that can play a part. Some people will be together 10 years before they're married, and it don't be an issue.
It's okay.
You see what I'm saying? Or somewhere in that range of 5 and up. Let me say that, because
Okay.
not everybody's going to do that nowadays, and that's understandably so. But they had that foundation of they knew each other, they had their friendship established, they had certain things that they talked about probably before they really got there, but they still stuck to those values, because we can say that with Pops, you know, with the exception of probably one that we were allowed to witness, and that you were here for, people he was married to, he was with. He known them. It wasn't just like, oh, I want to be married in 1 or 2 years, and then he just be like, oh, okay, sure. Like, it's a lot different now than it was back when you were coming up.
Of
and
course.
when Pops, of course. Was coming up that 30 to 40, having kids and marriage
So-
and all that.
Here's my thought about that. I think, first off, I think your generation and below are living to die. And I don't want to say that, like, I don't mean to be like negative in that, but I feel like they wake up with that mentality they could be gone tomorrow so often that everything has to be sped through.
So microwave society is brutal.
Yeah.
But the microwave society is because people's attention span is short.
Right.
But I think lifespan wise, people are just rushing to get through it because they think they're not going to live long enough to see it anyway.
And that's right. And that's the problem. That's what they told themselves. They convinced themselves of that. You know what I'm saying?
Because, like, I used to always tell people in my generation, when I was 19 and 20, 16 to 20, I felt invincible. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I could never die. Like, nothing ever going to happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then my best friend got killed in front of me, and I was like, whoa, maybe I can die. You know what I'm saying? But, like, your generation and below, they're like, I'm gonna die. Like, you know, it's not no tomorrow. It's right now. So they meet a chick, hey, how you doing? My name, da-da-da-da. 2 days later, 3 days later, they having sex, da-da-da-da. 4 months later, they living together. A year later, why ain't you put a ring on? I mean, if you moving that fast. But if you're trying to live and get to know somebody, it takes longer than an overnight to get to know somebody. But I don't think a lot of people want to really get to know people. They just want people to accept them and hope that's good enough. So, with that being the case, like I said, if you live in your life and fast forward, you'll never enjoy none of it. The time will never be right in your head because you're living in fast forward. So,
That's true.
Well, next question.
okay.
Considering y'all have seen enough of the world for right now in y'all life, what is too long to wait? And I know that's speaking from, answering that from a woman's perspective. But from a male's perspective, what do you feel is too long? And then you can answer that probably from what you know about how the women look at it, since we all do look at it differently.
You want to take that first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep it short.
All right.
My situation was, I waited to propose and, you know, fiance type stuff way longer than we were actually engaged. So when I proposed, we made a plan to get married within like whenever, like a really short time. We talking about like, hey, you want to marry? Yeah, bet. When? Like, let's do this next week, or the week after, or you see what I'm saying, or next month. Like it was really something that short because we had been together for like 7 years.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
You had
so,
a lot built.
Right. We had way, to me, we overdid it. You know what I'm saying? But that's on me. That was my fault. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you know that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I should have been did it. You know what I'm saying? But point being, once I did it, we wasn't engaged. We wasn't like fiancés for like 2 years, a year for some people. You know what I'm saying? And that was just because I waited so long. So like, ain't no need to wait more and be fiancé and because ain't nothing gonna change.
Do you feel from what you did and then looking at how things are now, do you feel like the way you went about it, y'all should have got married first? Or are you comfortable with, hey, we were here and yes, we got this status, we did this, we did that, then I married. What is your outlook on
you
this?
said we should have got married first?
Before y'all did anything else, the kids,
what
some people are talking.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Would you have done it differently?
No.
And what's your viewpoint on that?
Well, hindsight is always 20/20, right? So now, of course, I can look back and say pinpoint. But would I do it differently? Probably not.
Right.
And I say that because we knew each other so well.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she knew if she wanted to marry me, I knew if I wanted to marry her. Like, for sure, for sure.
Right.
It wasn't no hesitancy. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying, no pressure. It wasn't no nothing. Because, like I said, 7 years in, she probably was thinking, what the fuck you waiting on? You know what I'm saying? And my dumb ass, like, fuck you waiting on? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Y'all together, y'all want to be together,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. So,
What
like,
is what is your viewpoint on that for those who do look
Mhm.
at it differently, as far as who may say, hey, I want to be married before we have kids or before we move in, because you were on the other end of that spectrum.
Right.
For you, it worked.
I don't,
You know what I'm saying?
I think, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think that you should know everything about somebody before y'all get married. I think y'all should live together to see if y'all can live together, because two people coming together and y'all married already, y'all already stuck together, and now you got to see if this person snore. Is this person like the room extra hot? And I know it's simple shit like that, but
Right,
that is
that's
a
true.
really
But it's
breaker.
simple stuff that
That's
can
Right.
break, yeah.
That's a breaker because I like the room more cold.
Man, talk about it. Hey, that's
She
what
like it more hot. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, but it's stuff like that when we was just dating, and like I said, we was all the way in, and we was staying together, spending nights together. We figuring that stuff
You can
out.
see that.
Right. Well, no, you literally figuring it out.
yes.
Trial and error.
That's
Trial
what-
and error.
that's what
Right.
it is.
So it's like, okay, let me see if I can put the heat on 68. See if she cool with 68. But she might be thinking, okay, let me see if he cool with 72.
I'm gonna put that bitch on
So
70.
I'm like, we gonna
That's
put it on 70 and have it mutual. So it's
Right,
stuff
right,
like that we
right.
figured out. So like I said, once when it came time for marriage, it's time.
This what you got on it, man.
Well, I jumped into mine pretty fast. So when I got married the first time, we were talking about it. We were talking about it for like 2 days, and we got like, I got sloppy drunk the second night, and she was just smoking her weed and sipping on whatever she was sipping on, and I had an ulcer back then, and I woke up in terrible pain, and so she said to me, "Do you still want to marry me?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm coughing up blood, and this is what she said to me, and I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, like, were you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you know." And so I went to boot camp, and I told myself if she made it to my graduation, I'd marry her. So we were away from each other for 3 months, and she showed up on graduation day. We got married. We got married probably, I ain't even gonna say that week, probably 3 days later, 2-3 days later, we got married. We stayed married, however. We stayed married physically for about 6 months because she couldn't do the 2-hour distance at the time from where we were at. And I just bothered her. And then she started cheating, and I moved to California, and the rest was history. And my second wife, we got to know each other. We got to know all the bad things about each other. And I think she was just so infatuated with me, and I liked her, but I didn't like her a lot of times. And she was there for me when I went to the brig, and she was about to have my baby. So I was like, shit, I mean, you were there for me. That's better than what some of these other women were. And we're about to have a child, so it don't make no other sense for us not to, try this family thing, because we were already living together. We were living together as roommates, just sleeping in the same room all the time. So, like, it was a toxic situation that probably shouldn't have happened, but my daughter is the best thing that came out of it. And before she was 2, we were getting a divorce. So,
So same question to you.
maybe 4. Somewhere between 2 and 4, we were getting a divorce.
So the same question to you: do you feel that getting married first is the better option, or do you feel like every situation is different for every person? Like you can do it before, after. Like, what do you think on that? No,
Okay.
something like this.
Oh, my bad.
You already answered that part.
I
Then
feel
my
like
dad didn't know.
I
Okay,
feel
my
like
fault.
I feel like it depends on the people,
Right. Okay.
because like in said situation, playing house for 7 years worked better than jumping into marriage and ruining the situation. If me and her probably would have stayed living together for the next 2 to 4 years, I don't know if we would have worked out. Or, I don't know if I would have stopped cheating on her. Like, I only stopped cheating on her because I married her. So that was bad on my part. I was a toxic dude back then. But, I only stopped cheating on her because we got married, and then she started cheating on me. So I guess turnabout is fair play. So.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
what about the length? What y'all see now in the days, with I guess my generation and beyond, with the length of people wanting to get married, like what is y'all output on that? Because I already spoke about like how
A lot of y'all don't want to get married nowadays.
well, there's enough of them that did, whether it took some time because they knew each other or they did just.
No, you hear the young lady saying they want the baby and not the man.
Ooh.
You hear a lot of dudes saying, I ain't with that, I ain't getting married.
True.
So on both sides, they ain't trying to get married for whatever reason, and they have their reasons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Valid reasons at that.
Right, valid reasons, right. So I don't know. I can just say I'm glad that I'm married. I don't have to pick from this.
The youngest, probably your generation, Pat. I had some neighbors. They moved in next to me, and they were dating, and he kept cheating on her, and they had kids. So she already had a kid. They had a kid, and then right before she got pregnant the third time, they got married. Once they got married, they had kids. He stopped cheating, I suppose, and the family dynamic worked for them. But they had to go through what they had to go through because they were together since they were so young, and all he did was work. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was his main thing. All he did was work. So when he did have free time, I guess he didn't want to always be up under her at the time. Now he don't mind. They got nice whips, nice house, 2 new babies behind it. So I guess in some sense, waiting does, prolong the relationship or make it better. But like I said, it still depends on the people.
I think to what you were saying, bro, more so the generation after me, as far as not wanting to do it, because I've seen a lot of people I went to high school with who not some of them are still there, still married, and some of them are not, but they have that experience that they built, whether they got married or they lived together or both. But to attest what you're saying, I think that's a lot. Well, not everybody in that generation, but the generation right behind me, because little bro, he's in a good spot right now. So of course there is going to be exceptions to every rule, but I think that would be his generation where more of them is kind of like whatever,
they don't want to do it,
or they don't want to do it flat out. Whereas my generation, hey, they were doing it right after high school.
They tried.
So a lot of them really were doing it after high school.
Trying.
A lot of them were high school sweethearts, the jock and the prom queen.
I remember that. I think that's like the age-old relationship. The high school sweetheart, that pushes marriage early anyway, because y'all spend 4 years together already.
Right.
You see each other every day. Only thing y'all probably don't do is live together.
Right.
And the first thing y'all do when y'all graduate high school is go get a place together. So naturally, you learn each other quicker that way. You learn each other fairly fast if you live with somebody. You know what they like, you know what you like, you know what they don't like, they don't like.
Right.
And y'all become mutable to adjust to the facts. But, like I said, high school is one of the oldest, longest relationships that they go. And then college, and then meeting people in the world and see what happens is last.
Now, I've watched y'all, a lot of y'all content where y'all talked about things about like how when, especially high school, but even so when you're in college, those are people's fun years. Now, looking at, you can speak from any generation, but do you feel like for some people, do you feel overall that people should wait till after college or during college, just because of how people view high school and then college as their party years, their fun years, that they should get married before or after?
Right, I would say it depends directly on the people.
I know a couple right now that's married, happy, and they did college. I'm not sure where he went to school at, but she went to Miles, and she was an AKA, so she did the parties with the AKA parties. She just didn't go to all of them because I guess she wasn't trying to always get hit on, or because she had a double major. I don't know, but whatever the case was, she got her partying in, still managed to graduate, double major. Her and her husband just had a baby not too long ago, and they thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other people who are still single.
Because they're still out there having fun and partying. Or whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
Right.
Category.
College is supposed to, like you said, it's a party phase, but more so than party phase is time management. It teaches you time management. It teaches you how to party, study, be serious. You know what I'm saying? Have a relationship if
I like
you
that,
can.
time management.
It's more of a time. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's what it's about. Because you're on your own. Ain't nobody telling you go to that 8 o'clock class. You got to
Hey,
get yourself
Drea.
up. What's happening, Drea? So I think that's what college is. And if you meet somebody in college, hopefully it'll be your junior or senior year, where you know you more serious.
Right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
You about to get out. You know what I'm saying? Then by junior, senior year, you about 24, 23,
Right.
whatever it might be, even if you sat out a year, whatever.
22,
So
23.
yeah, and if you went straight through, then yeah, you probably about 22. You know what I'm saying? 23, something like that. And you starting to buckle down a little bit.
Right.
Now you done had the party phase and you done kicked it and all this other
And
stuff.
you got
and
to,
now
them
you
papers
know.
start coming in.
Right.
And then they tell you what you going to do when you graduate. What you going
And
to
the real world is coming.
Yeah.
The real world is coming.
Yeah.
You know you can go back to mom and daddy house, but that's only till you find a job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So you're like, okay, I gotta focus. I gotta buckle down now. So yeah, it becomes pressing. You know what I'm saying? It becomes pressing.
Now, I have a great question that I want both of y'all to answer then.
Okay.
Back on the marriage proposal thing. And I know you, but I still want you to answer that for the viewers. Were you influenced at all
Mm-hmm.
by elders when you made your decision, or was that all on you? Same thing for you. So whoever want to go first, because there are some people out there that y'all probably had friends with and knew like, okay, they did this to please them, or they had more of an influence on those two once they got married or at least got engaged or whatever. Because I watch a lot of TV, so I do see it's crazy where like some people be together, but they be living with either her parents or his parents, and the dynamic it kind of messes up the flow because
It does.
y'all
It
are
does.
together, so y'all
It
want to
does.
have your own, and usually the guy's feeling prideless because he's like, damn, I'm supposed to be holding it down, but something ain't work, yada yada, etc. But what do you feel just
So-
seeing like your elders?
So when I got home from the military, I didn't have a place to stay. I had to live with my mom,
Mhm.
but I had previously sent her here to live with my mom so that she could have a safe pregnancy, and so that I could see my child, because I felt like if she'd have went to her mom, I would have never seen my child again. So we stayed with my mother for a while, and like I said, I was cheating, and I was probably a terrible person because I was mad and angry at the world, and she was giving up on life for a minute, and she was just ready to settle. And so I helped push her to become a respiratory therapist, and we got our own place. I started working at the water company. Life was good, and then we got married, and shit just went the way it went after that.
But was the reason you got married, was that influence or pressure?
Oh,
by
okay.
Your elders, your parents, grandparents, or was it just kind of like, man, when you ready? You know what I'm saying? When you ready, you do your thing.
It wasn't influenced by any elders, grandparents or parents. I had a conversation with one person. My dude is like a brother to me, and he was like, "She held you down. Y'all been rocking together. Why keep putting her through it?" That was the only conversation I had, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it on my terms."
Right.
And I married him. It was on me. So yeah.
No pressure. Now, my situation was slightly different, very cliche. Stepmom introduced me, you know what I'm saying, to who eventually became my wife. You see what I'm saying? So very cliche, you know what I'm saying? But it was no pressure.
Right.
She never said, "Oh, you better marry." She just introduced us and said, "Hey, I think y'all be a good couple."
What they say, the foresight in that.
Right. So, but it was never no pressure from nobody. Nobody ever said, "Y'all got to get married," or, or none of that. It was never none of that. And I wasn't gonna hear that no way though.
Okay, well, check this out. We know women are the levels of the stage of women have evolved, because when we talk about stepmom, we see how classy she was and the standards that she had, and we know that there are some women left out there. But what happened to the classy women? Should I say?
Feminism.
Okay. touch on it if you like, or this if you jumping in.
I ain't jumping on that one.
He said, "I ain't jumping in."
You fucking with that one.
I mean, that's. Hold up. Let me. Feminism is what happened to all the classy women.
Okay. Please explain for the crowd.
I just think it got them thinking a certain way. You know what I'm saying? It just got them. I don't know, man. It got these ideologies in their head now. You know what I'm saying? That men ain't nothing. Men bring nothing to the table. Excuse me. Which I don't. Excuse me. I don't understand why feminism can't promote female empowerment without putting men down. It don't have to be that. You see what I'm saying? And I think that that's what a lot of women are thinking. A lot of women think that female empowerment means down with men. You know what I'm saying? Like the diminishment of men. And a lot of these classy women, unfortunately, has adopted this same behavior. What am I talking about? So when you see a woman who normally would never twerk, now you see them twerking. Why? Because twerking have become so mainstream that even classy women think it's okay. Or women who normally would be considered classy, bougie, whatever. Now they twerking just as much. You see a lot of so-called classy women who have no problem spreading their legs in their videos. Literally, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all see it all the time. You see what I'm saying? But that's like sexually liberating and empowering. That's a bunch of BS. That's feminism got their mind clouded. Like, I'm not gonna say, but there's a female activist who said, taking your clothes off, you know what I'm saying, don't make you more empowered, it make you less empowered. Because you gotta take your clothes off to get attention. That's not more powerful, that's less powerful. Just saying.
Well, and this is something
That's all I had on that one.
This is the thing I want to understand, right? Because we all see it, right? There are women out there who put men down, but these are the same women who fit in with the mold of, well, I want to be married. But how do you expect a man to want to marry you when you are constantly, especially on camera, on your social media, bashing, saying men this, men that, men that? Okay, well, what if you seen somebody that you like, and he just like women of hoes, women of dog, women of this, women of that, whatever? And then he come up to you and be like, hey, what's up? You might be kind of taken back. You might be like, no, dude, because your viewpoint. Now he gotta struggle to say, oh, that's not my viewpoint on everybody. That's just on the majority. But we see a lot of women doing that. So how can you say you want to be married, but then at the same time you're putting men down? And then when you get a man who, as we like to say, is beta, weak-minded, that's what you get. Because when you got somebody that was more of an alpha,
Drea, answer that.
You couldn't. You see what I'm saying? You didn't want to listen and trust the alpha male. He's been a man being his purpose. But then you get this dude who's listening to you, being a beta male, as we all say, but now he's too weak. But you still want to be held down and married, whatever, the whole nine.
That's one of the things. You can't be modern and want traditional. Because that's just how we go. They want traditional. But they want to be modern, and they want a traditional man to be okay with them being modern. It don't work like that.
Right.
It's not gonna. He's not gonna see it like that.
So basically, it's like a modern Muslim woman trying to get a Muslim man to behave the way she wants him to, so that they can have a successful relationship.
I'm not touching that one.
And
I'm not touching that one at all.
And I just said I just say that to say, like all the parameters or things that they say a woman should not do or whatnot, and she said, but I want to do this. You know, like they say, you're not supposed to work, right? Because he's supposed to provide. But she says, I got a good job right now, so why should I give that up for us to be together? He says, well, in our culture, this is the way it's supposed to be. She says, well, I want you to be in our culture, but I want you to accept me working as well. He says, I can't do that. She says, but I want it both ways. That's how I think the dichotomy of women are right now. They want it both ways.
Yeah, but it can't be both ways. It can't be both ways. But they have this thing, and we talked about it. I'm deserving. You're not deserving of anything. Nobody is. Nobody is. And then this fictitious man that all of them want. This fictitious 666 dude 6 feet, 6 pack,
Morris
6
Chestnut.
figures. I'm saying
Oh
even
yeah, the 666.
yeah, that dude, that's fictional. Like y'all made that up and just ran with it, and everybody keeps showing them the numbers on how rare this dude is, this type of dude is, but they don't believe that, and they still think that, you know what I'm saying, he out there for them.
And there
You
is,
gotta
there is
understand,
there is no dude in that line.
like
that
everybody
wants
keep
somebody.
asking, everybody keep asking the same question: what does that type of man want, and do you fit that?
Mm.
And flip. Oh, go ahead. You got
18, young, tender, and very impressive. Mind-wise, being impressed.
you said 18.
Yeah, that's what he wants. The 6'6".
I
6'6".
don't think he want
I
18.
got that.
I don't think they want 18.
What age do you want?
At least 25.
No kids,
No kids. In shape.
in shape.
Making their own money too.
Probably. Yeah.
Because
I mean,
Maybe.
that right.
That's the maybe.
yeah. That's a maybe because he got the bread.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got the bread.
but then you do have some of them that is like you gotta have some. Not saying they gotta be 6 figures. But you
Right.
will have those guys that saying, okay, well look, she gotta make her own money too because I did this before I got work.
Right.
Now I will spend this on her. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
we're not saying that.
You
We're
know?
saying he's not gonna care about what she does.
Oh, okay.
He
okay.
doesn't care about how much money she makes.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he like whatever. As long as she young and in shape
But just like the women say, they say
Infertile.
they want
and fertile.
They
you gotta,
want-
you got to be able to get a
Right.
man kids.
they want the man with 6 figures. They want the certain body type and a certain lifestyle.
Mhm.
But when men say that, we're body shaming.
Right.
When men say that, there are the women who, like some of us, will say, "Well, dang, why you can't come down a little bit? We'll work, we'll do da 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 da." When a man says, "Well, hey, if he's making 6, 7 figures," he say, "Hey, I want a woman that's making 4 or 5 figures, whatever. It ain't got to be up here, but I want this, I want that, I want that." You will have those women who are not in that position who will say, "Well, dang, he ain't looking, he
looking past
he
you,
looking
right.
past us."
But,
But there's a lot of women, maybe not that particular group that feel that way like we do, some of us do. There are a lot of women that say that.
But are
if you
looking
get
past
that
regular
dude,
men,
he
right.
don't, you get that dude, he doesn't want you or you don't qualify for what he really wants.
right.
True.
And once
And
we
that's the
get to
thing.
that level and we say that, then they saying, "Oh well, he missing a good woman, he's body shaming." But y'all ain't. Then that means y'all doing the same thing
Of
too.
course they are.
But they don't admit that.
Well, it's one way when they do it. It's a problem when that. Well, you know that's the song. But it's one way when they voice their standards, but it's body shaming or whatever the case may be when we voice our standards. You see what I'm saying? One, men are not gonna care how much you make.
Not at all.
Not a dude making that kind of money. Like you said, as long as you got a job, that's all he gonna care about.
Right.
If he meet her, he's not trying to move her in right away. It's not like that anyway. You see what I'm saying? He understand he gonna be paying for dates and all that. That's cool. But he don't want nobody who don't have a job because that goes to show about her characteristics. So she has to have a job because that's what he's looking at. Because the dude up there like that,
25, 26, yeah.
yeah, you got to have a job and be doing something because that's gonna show about who you are.
18, 19, she might even have a job. She might be a bottle service.
You gotta have a
That's
job.
probably where he met her.
Right. He probably met her in the club, like I said, bottle girl,
Now-
IG model, you know what I'm saying, something like that. You got to be doing something.
To ask another question and to go along to segue from the 6-figure man, why are people not trying to grow together? Why are some people like, nah, he need to be here? But now the guy might have the ambition, the plan. It's probably was already in his plan a little bit. Give the woman whatever. And because I see a lot of this on social media sites and certain videos, like the ones we be talking about where they explain things, break it down. Why are some women not willing to get with a man, especially if they're still working on themselves, and y'all grow it together? Like, hey, you doing this, I'm doing that. All right, look, we finna make this work. We growing together.
A lot of people don't believe in that growing together stuff no more.
No.
Like I said, the newest generation want everything right now. That's why they hurry to get married, hurry to be engaged, hurry through the relationship, and then when it don't work, they hurry on to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
I said, if you live in your life and fast forward, once again, it's kind of hard to be like, I'm gonna put it on pause so that I can get me right and allow him to get himself right.
Well, y'all figured a way to do it at the same time because it's possible.
Well,
it is
but-
possible.
But I hear what
But
you're
see,
saying.
you gotta look at it like this, right? You have to look at. We talked about this the other day. Women look up, men look down.
Mm-hmm.
Everything across the board. Height, a woman want a man taller than her, stronger than her, more money than her. This is just on average. That's up. Men look down. A woman that's shorter than her, shorter than him, pardon me. You know what I'm saying? Weaker than he is.
Nurturing.
You see what I'm saying? So he's looking down. So you look at that dynamic. Growing together, yes, you can grow together, but she wants you to still be doing what you doing. While she doing what she doing.
Right.
No, ain't none of this together. We gonna grow at the same pace.
Right.
It don't work like that.
Cause then y'all looking at each other like this.
Right. And she looking at like, how you gonna lead me?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? No, you gotta be like, you let
How
her do
can I
her
follow
thing.
you?
Right, and you do your thing, and then y'all
And then we
y'all
come
do
back.
that together like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't mean like how you were basically just explaining. I do mean what you're saying. Like, hey, we both got a purpose and we stick to that purpose. It's nowadays when you will see it, especially like when they talk about it on the
Because
page
women
where-
look up. They want a man who's up already.
who's already there.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They look
Yeah.
up.
Okay, question then to that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they want a man that's already doing better than them.
Yes.
Okay, so when they're in the relationship and that man is already doing better than them, they're not even looking up. They're looking past him because
Because
Yeah.
you
there's
get,
always another
They
man.
always,
Right.
They
You-
have to secure this first.
You
Then they
saying
gonna
this is
start
what
looking-
you want, and then that man is like, "Hey, I got this, and this, and this is my plan. I'm staying on this plan."
Mhm.
And once again, like you said, you doing your thing. Like y'all sit down, and y'all talk about it, is what I'm saying, and y'all
Right.
saying, "Okay, hey, this is what we're gonna do together," and however it's working. You still got your stuff way before she came into the picture, so you're still above her in all the categories, whatever category is necessary.
Mhm.
And then you get that woman who's coming into it, who's not understanding of that. She's no longer just looking up; she's looking beyond you. Because now she's gonna feel like, well, yeah, you doing it, but what that's supposed to mean. So she's never happy,
Never appreciated.
never appreciative.
Right.
So
And-
I hear what you're saying, but some women look past the guy because you can say,
Well,
well, what are
okay,
you doing?
but-
He's doing everything.
Okay, and that's true. But once again, looking past you is still looking up.
Right.
That concept cannot be debated.
Okay.
They're gonna look up always.
Right.
They can have the man making $1 million. They're gonna look for the man making $5 million.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
It's
right,
something is just
But
in
but
them.
in your scenario, what it is that you're lacking or missing in the scenario, the dude is here. She got that.
Right,
She conquered that.
right, secure.
Okay.
But
Bags secure.
because they live in life and fast forward, he's not going here
Right, fast
to the
enough.
next level fast
Mhm.
enough.
Okay.
That's why
Alright,
she's
alright.
looking to the next,
Right.
Okay.
which is past him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well said.
Appreciate you.
That's exactly what it is. They always look up.
Mhm.
Always. They're gonna feel like I conquered this, like you said, I conquered this. Got this. Now let me see where else I can go. Next level. Especially if you're not moving, or if they feel like you're not moving fast enough.
Right.
And once y'all get married, you can no longer judge what they are doing. Because you married them at whatever stage they was at. That's how they gonna look at it as soon as you come at them. Well, I was doing whatever when you married. You see what I'm saying? And that's if you try to motivate them in any way, now they're gonna feel like you looking down on them and disrespecting them. It's weird like that. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's better to find somebody that you equally match up with, you know what I'm saying?
From the jump.
From the jump, right, and you won't have those issues.
But it's hard to find that because
Very hard, very difficult. Very
because
difficult.
in these days everybody's living in fast forward.
Yep, nobody
That's what
wants
we're
to
gonna
be
call this
played.
video.
I'll just
Fast
say-
Fast
forward.
forward.
Living fast.
Fast forward. Yep. I like that.
Everything becomes difficult when you live like that.
Everything.
You know, Kanye and Dan Dash, they asshole. They listen to your music and fast forward. They, you know, they don't get none of the words you said. That's how relationships are.
Mm-hmm.
I met you today. I'm trying to marry you next week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know nothing about you.
Mm-mm.
You don't know nothing about me.
Mm-mm.
But the pussy, the sex is good.
That's it. That's it.
And my name might be Bob.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And that's good enough to get married nowadays. That's good enough. You don't even know this person's middle name, but you ready to get married to them. Like I said, they moving such fast forward at such a high pace. It's just unrealistic to sustain it. It's unrealistic to constantly be moving at this da 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 da. They want to take girl trips by themselves, but you married. You can't do that no more. I'm sorry. This is what come with it. But this new age stuff is like, oh, I should be able to still take girl trips. What do you mean? What? Okay, how about you wait a few years, 4 or 5 years. Let's work on us first. Let's work on this marriage first.
What time is it?
5 to
5 to 7?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta cut it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm your boy Said.
I'm your hostess,
And I'm your guest, PSD.
We out of time till the next time.
screaming, let's talk.
Peace.